All right, so you want to start a brand new line striping business. Maybe you got around 10K to spend and you want to get there within about 90 days, give or take, to get it to profitability. Then that is exactly what we're going to do on this episode. Well, at least we're going to start this episode. You see, I get quite a few emails from people about starting line striping businesses, and I always want to be able to help everybody I can. In fact, I got a message the other day. Let me show you. So I got the email and he said, "Hey Alex, really appreciate what you've done. Just bought my first machine, got the 3900, a fantastic machine, by the way." He's looking at starting up a brand new business and of course, just wants to talk about it, make sure he's got everything covered, get started. And I figured, okay, I can help out, but the problem I find is everything I do behind the scenes for linemark.com is already an established business. We've been going 3 years, we're a multi-million-dollar business already, and so trying to sort of showcase what we're doing and how we're doing it and everything else, probably easier said than done. And I think to give a level starting point so that I can really help you guys start your own line striping business, I thought the best thing to do would be to start a brand new line striping business for myself. And we're going to set ourselves a few challenges. Now, as you guys know, I already own a line striping company called linemark.com. And so to make this a really big challenge, something that we can actually work towards, I'm not going to use any of the equipment that I've got at linemark.com. I'm not going to use any of the customers. I'm not going to use, in fact, anything we've got, none of the technology, none of the systems, none of the equipment. We're going to start brand new. We're also going to do it for 10 grand. The other thing we're going to do, we're going to get it profitable within 90 days. Now, the reason I picked this is because when I talk to people, they've typically got a smaller budget to work with than I perhaps had when I started. So if you've got around 10 grand, you've got maybe 3 months worth of savings on top, that's a pretty good starting point, and you can definitely get a business running for that. That's what we're going to do. Now, arguably, I have spent already 80% of the budget, and this is day one. I bought this. This is the Graco HS 130. My buddy Johnny gave me a great deal on this thing, and I couldn't really turn it down. The downside of getting it though is that by spending 80% of our budget on this, we only have 2 grand left over for marketing, and that's going to be incredibly tight given that we spend way more than that weekly advertising at linemark.com. So we're not going to be able to do traditional marketing. We're going to have to come up with something quite creative. I'm also not going to go after the same customer base. So at linemark.com, I do warehouses, which are the big ticket sales, and then we've got car parks, which, you know, they're a couple of thousand normally, but the warehouses usually tens of thousands. For this, we're going to go after a whole new customer base, and that means I can't use a single customer. Typically, I work from London to, say, Birmingham. I'm going to get rid of that entirely. We're going to pick a whole new area, a brand new niche, brand new equipment. I'm looking forward to sharing it with you guys and getting started. So this is week 1. We've got 90 days from today, 4th Feb. We've got 90 days to get it there. I'm looking forward to doing it. So let me tell you a little bit about the plan. We're going to head back to the office. I'm going to tell you all about this plan. Let me work out how this is going to work, right? So we've got 90 days. We've got 90 days from today to get this profitable, and we've got 10K. Except we don't actually have 10K yet. Well, we've spent 8. So we've gone minus 8K already on our machine, which leaves us with 2K left over. Now that's not a huge amount of money, I'll be honest, 2 grand to try and launch a line striping business. I mean, arguably we've got the machine, that's great, but because I'm not going to use any of my existing customers, I'm not going to use any of my existing machinery, it is absolutely going to be a challenge. To give you an idea of what I currently spend, for example, on advertising. So a cost per conversion currently, I don't know if you guys can see that, on Google for what we're paying at linemark.com, it's about £75 for a cost per conversion. And our conversion rate hovers between 6 and 12%, somewhere around there. And that means so far, for example, I've got 3 conversions, I've just spent £220. Now, if my sale rate is only 1 in 4, that means that essentially, what am I spending there? 75 quid. I'm going to spend 300 to get 1 sale. So each sale, if you imagine it's £75 each, which in dollars is like $85, $90. So I've got to do 4 of those. It takes me to 300 to get 1 sale. Then I have to take that, obviously, you know, if I'm selling at 1 in 4 sort of ratio, maybe you can get a better ratio, but I hit about 1 in 4, but I'm also a premium price point. So I'm okay with that because I charge enough money to justify, but it does cost me 300 quid a sale. Now, in order to run this business, because we don't have a big budget, we've got 2 grand, you can imagine we're going to eat through that budget in about a week if we do Google advertising. And so that's not going to work overly well. So we need to be really targeted on who we're hitting. So So this is our new line striping business. I'll just call it Lines. I've got a name picked out, I think, that will be just perfect, but let me talk you through how and why. So we could service the likes of offices. We could do factories. We could do schools. We can do shops. And we could do council, or you might call it municipalities, but that's basically where I see the majority of our market that's easy to reach. Now, there are a couple of drawbacks to some of these, right? I currently already service office car parks and factory car parks at linemark.com. And because I want to make this completely new, brand new business that doesn't target the same customers, that doesn't use the equipment that we already have, it is literally a brand new standalone business, I don't think that it's justifiable or fair that I target these sort of customers. It has to be brand new. So I'm going to say no to factories purely on this basis, but of course it could be a viable one for you guys to do. In fact, I would say factories make the majority of our money for us. We might do office car parks, and you might do a sale, an average sale for an office car park. For us, for example, it's probably 3K, maybe 2.5 to 3K for an office car park. The average factory we do is about 20. So I'm using real money, but you can make that dollars if you want. But in real money, yeah, about 3K for an office car park, about 20K is our average order value for factories. Now we get some that are 70, 80,000 pounds a sale. We get some of these that are just 1,000 pounds a sale, but those are the sort of averages that we get. So I don't think it's right that I do factories, and I don't think it's right that we do offices. I think shops in the UK, not so easy. Like if you're in the US or Canada or somewhere, it's easy to do shopping malls, I think, to be honest. Whereas here in the UK, not so straightforward. They take so long to come off is the other thing I found. Like we've quoted a few, and yes, they might be big 50, 60,000 pound jobs. They take so long to come off that I think that one's going to be a no-no for us as well. Now, councils is interesting. I think if you can get in with a council and get some work, like your local municipality, then there's probably a lot of work to be had, and you can probably make a really good, decent living off of that. The downside, I think, to it though, certainly here in the UK, is how long it actually takes to get that conversion. Every time I've worked with the council, it has taken months to come to fruition. And even then, the sales values can be quite low. Sometimes, they do repeat orders, they'll buy more and more and more. They've got so many buildings and roads to maintain, but I honestly find that it takes such a long time. But also, at least here in the UK, they don't want spray, they want thermoplastic. So given that we only have a spray machine to use, I don't think that works for us either. So I'm actually going to take out the offices, take out the councils, I'm going to take out the shops, and that kind of leaves us with one thing, and that is the schools. Now, I think schools are probably a good target for us because, well, for two reasons. I don't target schools at linemark.com. I mean, we have done schools before, don't get me wrong, but we've not advertised to a school. We've just advertised our line marking for car parks, and a school's phoned us and said, hey, by the way, can you do the car park at the school? Okay, cool. But we didn't target them. So what I'm thinking is, why don't we target schools specifically? Now, in order to do this, I think we can pick out the line markings that a school will need. So for example, we're going to do things like tennis, we might have basketball, and probably netball. They would be the big sports that we play on courts here in the UK. And I think we can do a couple of things to sell. We can do new, and we can do renew. Hopefully you guys can see that come through, but new and renew. And we can set different price points. So for a new one, for example, we might charge something like 500, and for a renew, we might charge something like 250. Now, these are just made up prices. I haven't set these prices at all. That's an idea of what we can do. So we can do brand new line markings for the courts. We could do also overmarks for them as well. Now, given the machine we've got, we can spray both MMAs and we can do acrylics as well. Now, the thing I think could be interesting here, schools tend to be short of cash. At least that's my experience of ever working with a school. And so as a way of helping the school recover some money, or at least make some money if we can, we could look to help them rent the courts out. Now, what I mean by this is typically here in the UK, like my son does dodgeball, so we go to a dodgeball court. It's actually just a sports hall, but we pay whatever to go to a session, and they rent the hall for an hour. That's what we do. And then after us, it's netball and something else. So I figured, what if we were to help the school make some money back on their line markings and said, okay, look, we can do your line markings. We can do a refresh. Let's say we did it for cheaper. We did it for 200, but if you went for 250, we'd use a reflective MMA. Now, the reflective MMA would help with the floodlighting. It would allow the floodlights to reflect off the lines, giving you a longer session to be able to play at night. So your lines will be more visible, which means people can carry on playing football, netball, whatever they want to do longer into the evenings. Now, that might be a nice little way to upsell it. It'll also give them much more longevity so that the lines just last an awful lot longer. So that's pretty much my plan. Now, I've come up with a name. I don't know if it'll work yet, but I was thinking to make this really stand out and speak to the customer, we're going to call this Edgy Lines. Now, I'm thinking to get this working, we should put together maybe something super simple, like a one-page website, and that will eat a little bit of our budget, but I know that if we put together a full website, it's going to cost us probably $5,000 or $6,000 at least, maybe a little bit more for a really sort of good, decent landing page website. But I'm thinking of using lead pages where we put together a one-pager that just gives the basic information where the customer can book in a meeting using Calendly. So we're going to have to link a few bits of technology, and I'm going to show you how we're going to do that as well. But we need to link a couple of bits of technology together, and you can actually build that at home. So I'm going to show you how I build that. We'll go back into the office. I'm going to put that together for you guys as well. Then we need to start working out our marketing. Now, given that we have spent an absolute fortune, we only have 2K, as we mentioned. My concern with this $2,000 budget left over is it basically leaves no money. Like 10 grand to start a line striping business with a machine is pretty tough, in my opinion. So we've got to be quite creative. We can't really afford social media ads. We can't really use YouTube ads. We can't use Google ads. In fact, I don't even think we can afford print media as such. The only thing I can think of is we write a letter, because we have such a small budget. Postage here is probably going to cost me £1 per, which is $1.20, say, or $1.15 to send a letter out to somebody in the post. And that would be for me to print it, put it in an envelope, pay for the stamp, send it out the door. About $1.15. And given that we only have 2K, we're not going to have a great deal of money. So I'm thinking, instead of targeting all the schools in the UK, we pick schools based literally in our local towns area around here. So I'm in Northamptonshire, and I think we could probably hit schools in Northamptonshire. We could maybe hit Cambridgeshire. They might be better funded than some of the other areas. So I think Cambridgeshire, even Bedfordshire, quite well funded, I think. So if we hit schools in those areas and we wrote to all of them and said, hey, we'll work out what the letter's going to say, but we'll write a script, write a letter to them, give them an offer, and hopefully that'll work. But otherwise, I'm not sure what else we can do. The difficulty is in that, though, is who do we write the letter to? How do we know it's going to get to the right person? How do we write it? How do we say the right thing that leads to an outcome we want, i.e. a meeting at the very least? I don't know. It's going to be a tricky one. So we need to work on a couple of things here. So I think what we need is a bit of a to-do list now with what we're going to do back in the office, just so that I've got everything covered, because otherwise I know I'm just going to get lost here and I'm not actually going to get it done the right way. The budget is so tight that I am slightly concerned that even this is quite a challenge. All right, so as a to-do list, we need to put together a web page. This will just be literally a landing page, nothing extravagant in the slightest. We need to link that to Calendly or booking form. Because the thing I like about Calendly, it's like $8 a month, but it allows people to book directly into your calendar. You could do it for free through a one-page website like Lead Pages, but the problem is it doesn't search your calendar for times and let people pick dates and times that way. So yeah, I'm gonna I'm going to go for Calendly on this, but I'll show you that as well. We need to write a letter. We need to work out who we're sending it to. And by that, I mean schools and what would you call it? We're not going to send it to the headmaster. We'll probably send it to, do we send it to the PE department? Probably not even that. We'll probably do the facilities. Department. So this is our to-do list, right? We've got to do a web page, the Calendly booking form. We've got to write the letter and get it ready to send. So we've got it literally what we're going to say. We need to know who we're going to send it to. And by that, we need to pick schools and then probably hit facilities managers. Now, another way we could do this is LinkedIn. But honestly, I stopped using LinkedIn like 3 or 4 months ago. And actually, I'm going to take that off because I have no desire to ever go back on LinkedIn ever again. Don't get me wrong, like the platform's fine. It's just a bit of a sausage fest with everybody just politically correct the whole freaking time, and I can't be arsed with it. So that's just not me. You know, I'm not politically correct at all. So can't be arsed. Right, web page, Calendly, letter, who we're going to send it to. So I'm going to use Gavico markings for the paints. We've already got our machine, so I think we're pretty much set. And I'm literally adding a little video for you guys onto YouTube at the same time just to show you exactly what I'm going to do to help out here as well. But yeah, so Gavico provide an awful lot of our products, as you can see. These are the sealers, the paints, everything else we've got. We've got the HS roots here. These are the MMA paints that we use, so we get through quite a bit of the MMAs. This is Lineware UK, very much the same as Gavico, obviously. So we get through an awful lot of those. But I think that's about all we need down here. I can't think there's much else. We've got our new machine. I've got some, I mean, we can't even afford lasers for it. That's a real bugger because I use laser guidance systems on everything. But if I put laser guidance systems on it now, I'll run out of money. And so really the only way I can use a laser guide is once we get some orders through the door. Now this is the other thing I'm considering, right? So we've only got $2,000 left. Let me shut this. Now we've only got $2,000 left, but when we get an order through from a school, I'm wondering if we can help boost our cash flow by asking for a pro forma, which essentially means the school pay you before you've done the job. Now, it's something that I like to do at linemark.com, but not everybody likes it. And certainly, you know, we get some pushback at linemark.com. People will say to us, hey, you know, we don't do that. We pay 60 days, 30 days, 90 days, whatever it is. And then it's kind of up to you where you go, well, that's cool, but we don't do the job until we're paid. So we end up walking away or we come to an agreement and they pay us. The schools, however, I don't know if they're going to work quite the same way. But as you know, at linemark.com, we've been using the thermoplastic system so much more recently, and it's become our kind of go-to here, especially as the weather's really bad at the moment. It really is just a great unit to use. But unfortunately, we're not going to be able to use that. Now, another challenge, now I'm thinking more about it, another real big challenge of doing line striping for schools is they're not going to let you in while the kids are there. Which means the only way I'm going to be able to do any line striping is during the holidays. Now, given that it's February, there is a February half term coming up, but I am actually in Finland skiing and Amsterdam, so I won't be here for that one. And then the next half term will be April for Easter, and I am in Spain for 2 weeks. So it depends what orders I can get through and how we can arrange it. Don't worry, we're not on a road, we're actually on my farm, so don't worry about me holding the camera, we're absolutely fine. So yeah, it definitely presents a bit of a challenge. Now that the trip to Finland is actually for a different business, different video, where I'm starting a massage company. And same with my trip to Amsterdam. So I'm going to Amsterdam to this Swedish massage place. After that, I'm flying out. I was going to fly to Sweden. Ironically, you know, it's a Swedish massage, so I should probably go to Sweden. But I'm going to Finland because I'm also doubling up with a ski trip at the same time. And I figured I could kind of make the two work together. But let's be honest, it's just a holiday and I'm going to get a massage while I'm there. But there is a whole brand new business I'm starting, which is a massage company, which I know nothing about, but I am on a massage training course next week, a diploma if you like. It's kind of cool, but kind of grim at the same time because I don't want to massage anybody else. I think it'd be kind of gross. But anyway, if you guys are looking to find out more about that, I'll put a link up the top. You can find out about the massage business I'm starting. I actually have 4 companies planned to start this year, all of which I'm going to do the same format where we've got 90 days and roughly 10 grand for each one to start up. Some of them might take a little bit more money than that, but roughly 10 grand to start each company in 90 days and get them obviously to profitability. So yeah, anyway, let's crack on. We're going to head back to the office. I'm going to put together the website, show you what we're going to do for that. Link the technology together like Calendly. We've got Zapier as well, I suppose. I don't know if I need to use it. I want to keep it simple. All right, let's head to the office. I'll show you exactly what we're going to do there. All right, so that's the end of week 1, our very first week of starting a brand new line striping business. I've got a little bit of work still to do here. I've got to compile the list of schools that I've still got to do, but ticked off just about everything else. For next week, I will have the business plan written out for you guys. I will have a 1-page website done as well. And then I'm going to show you exactly what that is so you guys can get a copy of the business plan as well. See the website. Hopefully I'll get that all live, ready to go for next week. But I have got a busy week. I'm off for a couple of days to do this massage training course as well. So I'll have limited time to do some filming. We'll probably get most of that shot here in the office. And I'll show you behind the scenes of what we're doing. Anyway, look, I would love to get some feedback from you guys in the comments. If there's anything in particular that I can share with you, anything that you'd like to know, any thoughts that you might have as well for how we can make this a better experience for you guys as well. It'd be great to hear that. As always, I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye.